Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan with a final hot take of the evening. YouTube and Joe Rogan. Oh, the big news is Joe Rogan offered to debate, well, not debate, but to moderate a debate between Trump and Biden, which would be utterly epic. That would be fantastically epic. I would demand that it not be on Spotify, but some free source like YouTube, which I'm sure he would. I don't think he'd force people to pay. I mean, it seems like it would be illegal to put a presidential election debate on a pay per view only. So, but you know, so they offered. It just sort of offhandedly did that, and then somebody tweeted about it. Somebody from the Joe Rogan podcast, and Trump immediately said, "I'll do it." He's a mad lad, President Mad Lad. Oh yeah. Well, see, Trump knows. Trump understands. For a guy in his 70s, man, whew, he has a firm grasp of the internet. A pretty firm grasp. I mean, more than any 70-something person I've ever seen. And trust me, I've met some 70-year-olds who they can barely turn on a computer. Trump is like king of the internet. Biden, of course, so far hasn't said anything. I can't imagine he would say yes to this because, first off, Rogan said it would be 4 hours of just the three of them sitting down. And if you've ever seen the Joe Rogan podcast, it's very long form. First off, Biden couldn't hang for 4 hours. There's no way. There's no way. That would exhaust him beyond measure. He would fall to pieces. And there would be no control over Rogan. There certainly wouldn't be any control over Trump. There'd be nothing left of Biden by the end of it. I think he wouldn't even last the full 4 hours. He'd have to leave. He'd have to leave. I don't even think he could. Even sitting down, and it's if you've never seen the Joe Rogan podcast, it's all sit. You're sitting down in front of microphones like you're on the radio. Trump would be fine. Biden would be the one who I don't think he could last. I think in the middle of it, I don't even think he could last 4 hours without having to go to the bathroom. He looks, shaky old man kind of Biden. Forget about taking the... Trump would destroy him again. I mean, in that realm, that is Trump's realm. Okay? That's one of the reasons people like Trump. Because, and you could say, oh, he's dishonest, he lies. But even his lies are more genuine than any truth Biden's ever uttered, because it's Trump's off the cuff demeanor that people like, because he says a lot of truth in that. Now, does he always tell the truth? Absolutely not. But Biden, every word that comes out of his mouth sounds like a lie, because it's so fake and old and plastic, and you don't know what the guy really believes. Trump, you got an idea. Now, some people got the wrong idea, but most people know Trump's just an 80s Democrat who's marching around and he likes to make money, and, he's not fixing America for everybody else. He's kind of fixing it for himself, fixing it for the ha-has, fixing it because, he's going to get credit for it, and he's going to make an indelible mark that lasts throughout history. That's what he's going for. And he's probably setting up his kids to become president in the future. Yeah, that's happening. Get ready for another Trump in the White House. This is going to be Trump number one. I would probably bank on at least 2 more Trumps. And then we'll see if Barron gets queued up. Because look, Biden he's barely holding it together. He just got busted today for the teleprompter. I don't know if you saw that. I forget who figured it out, but he was in the middle of some interview. He held up a picture, and this wasn't like a little picture on his desk. This was like a wall hanging he took down, or someone took down for him, so he could show a picture of him and his sons together. So a black and white picture, was framed and had glass over it. Well, when he pointed it towards the camera, it caught the reflection of his teleprompter. And it was clearly a teleprompter. It wasn't a computer with like words on it. No, it was a teleprompter where like, like a karaoke machine where it's like words, the lyrics, and then like the part you should be reading is highlighted. Yeah, like we didn't know he was on a teleprompter. That's the thing. They should have immediately come out and said, when Biden's guy was asked, and I think this was on CNN, does Biden use a teleprompter? His guy should have said, well, occasionally, he's got a lot of topics to cover, just to keep, really he uses it as notes. That's what I would have said, and people would have went, oh, okay. But now it looks like he's hiding it, and now he's been caught. So now it looks 100 times worse. Now people make up their own thing in their own mind. You never want to do that. So you want to control that message, and they're not controlling it. Now everybody thinks, oh man, Biden must be losing his mind. They must be feeding him all the information. They could have controlled that narrative. They let other people make up their minds. Dumb move. Trump has never needed a teleprompter. He once famously disassembled one on stage during his speech. He'll just speak off the cuff for 4 straight hours. He'll never shut up. He'll probably be, Joe will be trying to rap, and Trump will go, just let me make one more point here, Joe. Is my Trump getting better? Am I slowly getting better at Trump? Huge. It's going to be huge. Everyone loves it. Joe, if I may just say one more thing, I don't know. I think it's turning more into Bernie Sanders. I got to work on my Trump. I got to get my Trump down for the second term. But, yeah, I mean, Biden would just get obliterated. But he's going to get obliterated in any debate. You know that, right? I mean, the only thing is, in a quote-unquote real debate, the moderator can save Biden. Like, oh, we have to cut to commercial. Why Biden's like stumbling around and dropping notes, and he's looking all confused, and they cut to commercial. And during the commercial, his wife runs out and like straightens his tie and puts his notes back and says, oh, you're on page 3. And then runs back into the audience before the commercial, and Trump's standing there like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I still can't do Trump. I can never do imitations. I do imitations of other people doing imitations. I got to work on my imitation of Steven Crowder's imitation of Trump, because that I think I could do if I work on it. So yeah, I don't think the Joe Rogan thing will happen as a debate. Trump might go on a show though. That would be huge. I'd like to see that. If Biden won't debate him, Trump should just go on the show. If Joe will have him, I think he will. I think Joe would deal Trump some pretty tough questions. But overall, I think Joe would walk away saying, yeah, he's okay. He's not that bad. I think that's what most people would do if you met a president. I often said that even about Bush, and I hated Bush. But I said to myself, I bet I would like this guy if I met him, because generally politicians are affable people, and they know how to make you like them if they want. They use their charisma. I do that myself. See, I'm doing it right now. Like me. Like me. Oh, sorry. Did I hit your head? Sorry. But anyhow, will the greatest internet event of all time happen? It's highly unlikely. But as Tim Pool said on his podcast about the same exact thing, we should email the Biden campaign, start a hashtag, see if we can make this happen. It's a long shot, but maybe Biden can be pressured into at least agreeing to it and then backing out, and at least we'll get a Trump interview, which would also be epic. I mean, pretty much Trump and or Biden on the Joe Rogan podcast would be epic.